Most leaders lose their best people months earlier before they resign, and most never see it coming. Picture this, it's Tuesday morning, you open your inbox and there it is. Your best performing supply chain leader has decided to leave. The one who carried your operation through every disruption. The one you trusted when things got messy. The one you thought was solid. And the worst is you didn't see it coming after all. Truth is, resignations don't happen suddenly. And what makes it worse, most leaders replay the last 30 days when the real story started months earlier. These aren't impulsive decisions made over a weekend. They're slow burns that have been smoldering for weeks, sometimes months. And the warning signs were there all along, long before that resignation email ever hit your inbox. In fact, research shows nearly 70% of employees who quit have already mentally checked out weeks, sometimes months before they actually resign, which means you had a window to do something about it. So in this video, I'm going to show you exactly how to spot those warning signs, ask the right questions, and prevent resignations before they happen. So let's dive in. I'm Renee Fry, and this is Building Your High-Performing Team, where we help you hire smarter, reduce turnover, and drive business results so you can finally sleep at night. If you want proven strategies to hire better and build teams that last, hit subscribe. We drop new insights every week. Before we talk about how to prevent resignations, let's talk about why this matters so much, because the numbers are staggering. When a senior supply chain leader leaves your organization, the financial hit starts immediately. First, there's recruitment. Hiring a supply chain manager or director typically costs between $15,000 and $15,000, and that's being conservative. But that's just the beginning. Then comes the onboarding. A new leader in supply chain isn't fully productive for 6 to 12 months. And during that ramp-up period, you're absorbing lost productivity, training time, and operational drag, which can easily add another $30,000 to $75,000 to the total cost. And take note of this one. The most expensive loss isn't even on a spreadsheet. It's institutional knowledge, the processes they've built, the vendor relationships they own, the tribal knowledge and gut instincts about decision making that never made it into documentation. All of that walks out the door with them, and you don't get it back. When you add it all up, losing one high performer costs somewhere between $100,000 and $250,000, sometimes more. So when leaders say, we can't afford retention initiatives, what they're really saying is, we're choosing to pay replacement costs instead. And that math surely never works in your favor. But here's the part most leaders miss. This isn't about bad people decisions, it's about missed moments. So here's a little bit of good news. Resignations don't come out of nowhere. There are pattern signals that show up long before someone updates their LinkedIn profile or schedules that awkward meeting with HR. Let me walk you through the 5 warning signs most leaders miss. Warning sign number 1, quiet disengagement. I see this all the time. A leader tells me they're still getting everything done, no complaints. But when I ask, when was the last time they challenged a plan? There's a pause, because that silence didn't mean alignment. It meant they stopped believing the system would change. Your top performer stops offering ideas. They contribute less in meetings. They're still doing the work, sure, but nothing beyond it, not because they can't, but because they've emotionally checked out. The spark is gone. Number 2, responsibility plateau. Here's something you need to understand about high performers. They get bored fast. If your best leader has been in the same role for 3 or more years without expanded scope, new challenges, or a clear path forward, they're already mentally scanning for exits. Stagnation is kryptonite for top talent. Number 3, compensation benchmarking. They start asking questions about market rates, what competitors are paying, how their salary stacks up against industry standards. That's not just idle curiosity, that's That's market research. They're building a case either for negotiation or leaving. Number 4, sudden boundary enforcement. Think about it. They used to stay late when they needed. They used to answer emails on the weekends. Now they log off at exactly 5 o'clock. That's not laziness or newfound work-life balance epiphany. That's detachment. They're protecting their energy because they're no longer invested in the long game. And number 5, external mentorship and networking. They're suddenly attending more conferences, seeking out coaches and mentors, building relationships outside your organization at a noticeable pace. They're not just expanding their network, they're building an exit ramp. And every single one of these signs happens before a resignation. The problem? Most leaders simply aren't trained to notice them until it's too late. So if you're hearing this and thinking, I recognize at least one person right now, good, because awareness is your leverage point. So if you catch these signals early, what do? How do you actually intervene before it's too late? The most effective tool I've seen for this is something I call a stay interview. And it sounds exactly what it sounds like. It's the opposite of an exit interview. Instead of asking why someone left, you're asking why they're still here. And more importantly, what would make them stay? It's like re-recruiting your team. But I want to pause here because this part matters more than the framework. The reason most employees don't tell the truth isn't because they don't have it. It's because they don't feel safe delivering it. So this conversation can't feel like feedback about them. It has to feel like them giving feedback about the system. And you don't need to call it a stay interview. In fact, I don't recommend you calling it at all. Don't call it a stay interview. Call it something like support and commitment conversation, a role sustainability conversation, capacity and support review, or employee feedback session. Whatever language fits your culture and removes pressure. The name isn't the point. Psychological safety is. And let me show you how to run one properly. So first, schedule it intentionally. Don't just grab them in the hallway. Set aside real time and tell them up front what this is about. You want to talk about their growth, their fulfillment, what would make their role even better. Reframe it as a positive conversation, not a performance review. Second, set the right tone from the jump. Be direct, be honest, make it clear this isn't about evaluating their performance. It's about understanding them as a person and a professional. When I schedule this type of conversation, I say something like this. This isn't a performance conversation. You're not in trouble. You're not being evaluated. This is me making sure the role, the expectations, and the support around you are sustainable. Because if something isn't working, that's on the system, not you. I also explain why this isn't a survey. I don't want you filling out a form where I interpret your words through my own bias. I want to hear it from you so I can ask better questions and truly understand what actually matters. You won't get in trouble for being honest here. What I'm listening for is friction, not fault. Third, ask better questions. I actually have a template for this and you can grab it in the downloads, but the questions are grouped into 5 areas. Overall work, wellness and balance, culture and teamwork, support and resources, and lastly, recognition and involvement. And let me share some sample questions with you. What do you like most about your job? Why? What parts of your role actually energize you? What would make your role better, more fulfilling? What skills do you want to develop over the next year? Where do you see your career heading? Not just here, but in general. How do you like to be recognized when you do great work? Do you have ideas or suggestions that haven't been heard or considered? What about our culture needs to change? And this one is critical. What can I do personally to support and lead you better? Fourth, this is where most leaders blow it. Listen without defending. Don't explain, don't justify, don't get defensive. Just listen and take notes and absorb what they're telling you. And finally, act on what you heard. After the conversation, summarize what you heard, commit to specific next steps, and then this is the non-negotiable part. Actually follow through on those commitments. Organizations that implement stay interviews consistently see retention improve by 10 to 15%, especially among high performers. Because when people feel heard and see action taken, they believe you care. Now, stay interviews matter absolutely, but here's the reality. Stay interviews alone won't save you if your culture is broken. Culture is what keeps people long-term. So let me give you 3 things leaders can implement immediately to build a retention culture. First, create visible career pathways. And I don't just mean promotions. I mean growth, influence, expanded scope. Show your people where they can go and how they can get there, even if it's not a vertical climb on the org chart. Second, protect your high performers from burnout. Stop rewarding competence with overload. I've watched leaders unintentionally train their best people to leave. Every time someone says, give it to them, they'll figure it out, you're teaching the rest of the team exactly what excellence costs. Just because someone can handle more doesn't mean they should. And when your best people carry the heaviest loads indefinitely, they leave. It's that simple. And third, invest in their development, training, coaching, certifications. When people see you investing real resources into their growth, they invest in staying. Retention isn't about free snacks or ping pong tables. It's about leadership that shows up for people. Let's bring this full circle. That unexpected resignation we talked about at the beginning, it wasn't sudden. The signs were there all along, hiding in plain sight. But if you start watching for them, if you start asking better questions, and if you actually follow through on what you learn, you can stop resignations before they happen. Because here's the thing, strong teams don't happen by accident. They're built intentionally, one conversation at a time. And the leaders who keep their best people, they don't wait for exit interviews to get honest. They build honesty into the way they lead. If this resonated with you and you found it valuable, do me a favor. Share it with another hiring leader who's serious about building stronger teams. If this sparks something for you, a name, a situation, a moment, don't ignore it. That's what I'm here for. And if you haven't subscribed yet, hit that subscribe button. We drop fresh insights every week to help you hire smarter and lead stronger. And if you're ready to fill a critical role or strengthen your leadership pipeline, visit talentq.net, where exceptional companies meet exceptional people. I'm Renee Fry, and this has been Building Your High-Performing Team from the recruiters who know your business, TalentQ. When your team is dialed in, that's when leadership feels effortless. Cheers for now, and I'll see you in the next one.